दोस्तों, हैरान हो गए ना मुझे देख के। मैं जानता हूँ आप शुरुआत में हमारे गेस्ट स्पीकर को देखने के आदी हैं, लेकिन आज प्रारंभ में मैं नज़र आ गया। आज एक बड़ा खास दिन है। खास दिन ये है, आज इंस्पायरिंग स्टोरीज ऑफ ह्यूमंस का सीज़न 2 का ये पहला एपिसोड है। हमारी कड़ी मेहनत में आपका प्यार और स्नेह जुड़ा और हम इस मुकाम तक आए। आज हम पहले एपिसोड से लेकर 35वें एपिसोड तक पहुँच गए। पिछले 7 महीने में हमने 35 एपिसोड का सफ़र तय किया और इस 35 एपिसोड के पीछे पिछले 5 साल की मेहनत और कंटिन्यूस इम्प्रूवमेंट है। 35 एपिसोड दोस्तों, ये आत्म प्रशंसा करना या आत्ममुग्ध होना नहीं है, लेकिन मन को बहुत अच्छा लगता है कि हमने 35 एपिसोड का ये सफ़र तय किया। इट्स अ माइलस्टोन, इट्स एन अचीवमेंट। एक इंडियन पॉडकास्ट जो टियर 3 सिटी से शुरू होकर एट अ स्ट्रेच आज लाखों लोगों को इंस्पायर करते हुए अरबों लोगों की उम्मीद बनकर उभरते हुए भारत को दर्शाता है। दोस्तों, 35 एपिसोड तो एक पड़ाव भर है। अभी तो हमें बहुत सी मंजिलें तय करनी हैं। और देखिए तो लोगों की इंस्पायरिंग कहानियाँ, जो लोग आप लोगों के बीच से आते हैं, उनकी कहानियाँ सुनने से ना सिर्फ इंस्पिरेशन मिलती है, लेकिन एक खुद के अंदर भी ज्वाला जलती है कि हम भी इनकी तरह कर सकते हैं और इस शो पर आकर अपनी कहानियाँ अरबों लोगों तक पहुंचा सकते हैं। तो देर किस बात की है, आइए शुरू करते हैं आज का हमारा ये एपिसोड।
I think it's okay to fail, score less in your exams, be short, fat, slim, ugly, not beautiful, be unemployed, be not married at 34, 35, be divorced at 40, 50, be remarried at 50, 55. It's completely okay. In the end, it's your life. It's your journey. So embrace the life that you live and have absolute faith that divine God is there with you.
हौसलों में पंख लगा आसमां उड़ जाने की ख्वाहिश है, आँखों में देश भर छा जाने की
Inspiring stories of humans.
Hello Mr. Kavish.
Hi Anant.
Welcome to India's most iconic talk show. So now the roles has been reversed. Earlier you used to take the interviews, but now you are getting interviewed. So how's your feeling? And let the audience know who is actual Kavish Sisodia.
Thanks Anant for the kind introduction. Again, stepping roles from being on the host seat to being interviewed. It's again a refreshing role reversal for me. So I'm really looking forward.
Now you have to give the answers.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward for it. So I've been born and brought up in this beautiful city of Udaipur. Actually brought up in Manipal also. I'll get back to that later. So I did schooling from 0 to 10th from the school of Maharanas. That is the Maharana Mewar Public School.
Okay.
And then for 2 years I had gone to Kota for the hustle of IIT, JEE and all the other competitive exams. Then post that I was doing my undergraduation in mechanical engineering from Manipal Institute of Technology. And the reason why I say that I've been brought up largely from Manipal is because that my alma mater over there not just taught me about what engineering is, but it brought a whole lot of perspective about what life is. And a lot of my personal character has been shaped from my alma mater.
So you have mentioned about the Manipal. So have you been there post-graduation?
It's kind of a funny story. I've always believed that you don't go to your wife's house and the college that you've passed out unless invited back.
Yes.
So, the point that I want to convey here is sasural or apne college. You don't go unless you've made some big thing in your life.
Right. Yeah.
So that's the whole thing.
Right.
Yeah. So I haven't gotten my calling yet. So I'm shaping myself. And yeah, that's how it is.
So as I mentioned earlier, you are an engineer and you have made a Formula 1 car during your engineering days. So how was your experience of being in that?
Oh, I think that was the tipping point of my engineering life. That was one of the most prestigious memories that I still hold. I mean, I was a part of this group who had 25 other members also looking after different dimensions of how a race car is built. So we had this brand called as Formula Manipal.
Okay.
Under that, we made the car from scratch. We arranged all the sponsorships to all the welding, and we participated for the F1 competition that is held on a student basis in Italy for that. So that was surreal. I mean, that was the whole quest of being an engineer was settled when I saw the car running in front of my eyes.
Not engineer, mechanical engineer.
Yeah, true. So true. So true.
So we have also seen that you were in Muscat for quite time. But so how was your experience being there?
So it was a short stint at Muscat. I was working with I was interning with Petroleum Development Oman. So that was a great cultural exchange for me because while I was young, it gave me a broader perspective that people all across the globe are the same.
Right.
The food we eat might be different, but the way we operate from our hearts.
Right.
So it added a lot more depth to my thought that the world is a small family. So that was one big undertaking from that whole internship at Muscat.
So you mentioned about you were a mechanical engineer, you have done engineering and you have made a Formula 1 car as well. So how these all things come upon a same space?
I think that's a good question. This is all a lot of, again, a person is defined by what all tastes that he has and what all he does. So I've been fortunate enough that I've been able to pursue a lot of my dreams and passions. I always loved playing cricket. I had the privilege of being trained by your father, whom I look up to as a very high-rated individual because he has always maintained a calm composure during his teaching times. Then I had the exposure of making a Formula race car, like you said. That was again very challenging while studying and making the car. Then being in Muscat, being exposed to the whole global culture.
Right.
I think this all in a nutshell shapes the way you think and how you bring a perspective. I think it is very important to have a perspective on different issues in life.
Right.
And perspective, I personally believe, has got nothing to do with age. Of course, with age, you tend to have wiser experiences. So why not have experiences when you can have a smaller age? Why not expose ourselves to a lot more things that we can do? Yeah, so it all comes down under the nutshell that I've been really grateful and blessed to live the life that I am living right now.
So you have mentioned you were fascinated about cricket and other things. So how these all things grown up?
I think I very faintly remember my mother and sister, they would tell that I wouldn't sleep until I would be wrapped around with my cars and bat and ball around me. So I think it started off very young. Probably I would have seen my cousins in the subconscious mind, they were playing cricket also. So it all got me from there, and cricket is, I mean, every individual wants to be a cricketer, and that's how I've also been brought up. So yeah, perhaps my parents would have seen this coming, but yeah, this is how my childhood has been. Yeah, that's how it would have developed, I believe.
So you have told so much of things, but my question is, with so much of good educational background, how you ended up being in UDAIPUR?
Again, that's a completely different story and an interesting one. I mean, I was doing fairly well in Muscat, and here I was boarding my flight from Muscat to India.
Okay.
And I didn't know what my parents had in their mind. I mean, but they were like, hey, why don't you come over home? I had been out for good six odd years, if I'm not wrong. And my parents believed that it's a good time that you spend some time with your real sister before she gets married and she goes to her house for the future. So yeah, of course, that appealed me. Didn't knew that was the trap for getting me involved into business, and I never went back again. But in the hindsight, that was the best decision of my life, because I very deeply cherished the adolescent time that I got to spend with my sister. We developed a great camaraderie amongst the two of us, and she's been a very deeply connected individual to me.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's how the journey to Udaipur happened back.
So now you are being in Udaipur,
Yeah.
and you have a family business.
Yeah.
So how did your father convinced you to join the family business?
Like I said, it was a very swift journey. He never made me realize that you will be taking charge of the business or you have to take it forward. They called me in order to spend some time with my sister, and that's how I ended up. And of course, the whole thought, the thing that I realized was it's not easy to run a business on your shoulders for 30 odd years.
Wow.
So when I came back over here, it always was there in my mind that I have to add armor to my family's business.
Right.
So that whole zeal didn't allow me to shift away from any of my ambitions in my personal choices also. And the shift was very easy. It wasn't that difficult for me.
So you have mentioned that your father asked you to come here and then you are into the family business.
Yeah.
So tell me, what's your family business all about?
So our business primarily was started off by my father in 1980.
Okay.
So it's been good 43 odd years. We're into the space of mineral mining and processing.
Okay.
We deal into soapstone, dolomite, calcite, china clay, and other filler minerals. So I think, yeah, that's the domain that we are dealing in. And from here, my father is from a commerce background and I from an engineering background.
Right.
So when I entered in, there was, of course, we brought in two perspectives into business. He would take care of the commercial aspects, and I was bound to think creatively in terms of business development. So it was a good blend. And of course, as businesses pass on from one generation to the another one, there is a shift of certain powers, there is a shift of certain thought processes.
Right.
So I've completely lived by that thought process of being with my father, developing that rapport with him, that we are co-workers, we're in this together, to taking it forward. And I'm really fortunate enough to have been allowed that background. Like I'm allowed to take off decisions which might be a little risky right now, but he wasn't allowed that, which every first generation entrepreneur is not allowed.
Right.
Because they had to fight for that basic necessities, the basic food, house, and the necessities for their family.
So I was very curious to know that how family business sustain, because from father the power transfer to son and then it goes on. So how was your experience being into the family business?
I think the whole point that you mentioned about transfer of powers,
Right.
I think it's very important that no one holds that certain stigma that I am the decision maker. Because if that comes into play, it's a little difficult.
Right.
So with me, of course, my father gave me the full leverage to take on my independent decisions, to fail at a personal level in a nutshell, which is very important. Because of course, you've run the business for a while. You don't want the business to go in a way wherein it could lead to some sort of a failure. But he allowed me the freedom, and he said me very clearly that it's very important to fail and it's very important to learn from those failures. And that has stayed with me for the longest while, that every setback is a setup for a comeback. And the comeback is supposed to be stronger than the setback.
Right. So what business means to you?
I think for me, business is not just about making transactions in your balance sheets. It's a lot more about adding value to the people whom you are dealing with.
Right.
Like I'm being with you on a talk show. It's an experience that we are sharing right now,
Right.
which might unfold certain aspects of my life and might inspire you, or the other way around. In a similar way, when I deal with people, and business, according to me, is all about dealing with people.
People, right.
And when you deal with people, you want that transaction to be very hassle-free with you, so that it's a pleasurable experience to deal with you. And in our domain, in the genre of mining and mineral processing, adding that glamour is the X factor.
Right.
That you make the whole transaction smoothless and you make sure you deliver what you commit for.
Right. So I have introduced you as a spiritual entrepreneur. So what spirituality means to you?
I think spirituality to me on a larger level is, I believe it's all about noticing the little things that are happening around you. And spirituality,
Observation.
yeah, it's about being observant to how things are happening to you and having the larger perspective that you are meant for the larger perspective.
Right.
You are meant for the larger purpose in life.
Right.
And it's extremely important that while we lead our lives, to figure out why we are sent on this beautiful earth. What is our purpose?
As a human.
Yeah, as a human. And the whole quest, of course, you do business, you take education, you play sports, you have a good relationship, companionship. But then the whole quest to know who you are within, that should always thrive. And that did stay with me. I always, whenever I was stuck in certain situations, I would ask myself, why am I being subjected to this? What is the larger purpose of this situation that has come up to me? So yeah, spirituality, in a way, having those wise bullet points in terms of wisdom has helped me navigate through those situations with a lot more comfort and ease, which otherwise would have been a very haywire situation in my mind.
Right.
If you don't have the right tools to settle your mind,
Right.
you have, I see a lot of times, I myself face situations wherein you're anxious, you don't know what to do, you don't know how things will unfold for you.
Right.
So that is where the whole spirituality helps you stay sane.
So I have seen that you have started a new concept of live life cavishly. What's the whole concept is about?
It's a baby step towards content creation. I think the whole live life cavishly is meant to give transformational, positive affirmations to life. That when you are stuck in situations, like I see that there's a lot of fancying around the lives that we have on our social media. It's very easy to get depressed by watching someone else's profile, that he's traveling so much, he's having a fancy life, he's having a fancy car, he's having fancy shoes. And the whole point, I believe, is it's okay to have ambitions to have that life. But at the same time, you must not forget that you also are blessed in so many other ways.
Right.
And it's up to us to make the most out of the lives that we have got. And everyone's having their own personal journeys. So yeah, that was the whole intent behind starting off Live Life Cavishly. And yeah, that's all about it.
So you have mentioned about the social media thing, the how the people are showcasing their life, their material success, everything. And I have seen bit of your content in that you have shown that how you can get connected to the spirituality and everything. So what's your mindset on that thing?
I think it's okay to fail, score less in your exams, be short, fat, slim, ugly, not beautiful, be unemployed, be not married at 34, 35, be divorced at 40, 50, be remarried at 50, 55. It's completely okay. In the end, it's your life. It's your journey. So embrace the life that you live and have absolute faith that divine God is there with you.
So now we will do the most legendary event, that is rapid fire. First question is, till now we have produced more than 30 episodes. So which one you like the most and why?
I think I've seen you from your first episode. So I've loved the whole transition from episode 1 to episode 30. So I think it's difficult to pick one out of it. The best is still yet to come.
Yeah.
And I would love to have the role reversal with you on the seat of...
Same.
So yeah, the best is yet to come.
Next, if you could have any superpower, what it could be?
Oh, well, that's interesting. I would just like to add a little more hours to my day because I'm always short on time. Yeah.
Next, you have a dinner party with any 4 people around the world. Whom will you invite?
I'd like to have number 1, Virat Kohli.
Why?
For the aggression that he holds and the way he has channelized his aggression into his work. Number 2 would be Rajat Sharma for the whole mindset that he has and the ease with which he conversates with people of different genres.
Right.
Number 3 would be Shah Rukh Khan. I've been a diehard Shah Rukh Khan fan from my childhood, so that goes unanswered. And number 4 would be Dineshji NM.
Why?
I mean, of course, for the kind of persona that he holds, the way he carries himself, the way he's called Tiger for a reason.
Right.
Absolutely, for the courage that he shows. And for that, I would love to have dinner with all these 4 personalities, given a chance.
नेक्स्ट है, व्हाट्स द फेवरेट पार्ट ऑफ योर वर्क?
There are a lot. I love doing what I am doing, but if you were to pinpoint one, it would be interacting with people, be it my workers or be it my clients. I love interacting just to know how they are leading their lives.
राइट.
Yeah.
नेक्स्ट है, हाउ डू यू मैनेज स्ट्रेस?
I do follow 3 S's. That is satsang, seva, and sadhana.
वाओ.
So whenever you are alone in your life, you hang around with the right satsang. When you are content in what you're doing, you do a little bit of seva. And then for the personal soul, I do my sadhana, which is the meditation practices. So a blend of all these 3 keeps me sane.
नेक्स्ट है, व्हाट मोटिवेट्स यू टू गेट आउट ऑफ द बेड इन द मॉर्निंग?
I think there are a lot of things. I think I usually am a grateful person. I don't seek a lot of great things to happen around me to feel happy. It's okay, bad things do happen to you, but there's nothing as such that I look up to as motivation. It's just that I feel content and blessed to be leading the life that I am. And the whole perspective is to make a difference and impact on the larger audience.
नेक्स्ट है, नेम अ पर्सन दैट यू कंसिडर टू बी अ हीरो एंड व्हाई?
Oh, this one's quite simple. I consider my sister as my hero. As in, she's been a rock solid pillar in my life. The way she's acted as a catalyst to my mother and my parents to upbring me up, and the way I've seen a lot of things about my sister's character, like how she has valued certain emotions, she's valued certain things in her life, and I really love hanging out with my sister.
So I like your perspective of how you be spiritual and how you take the things. So for that reason, I have made a new question here for you, specifically for you. So I will give you emotions and you have to speak on that. Sports.
I think brings the best out of you.
Next is hate.
Don't do it. Don't hate anyone for all the right reasons also. There's so much love. When the work can be done by love, why hate someone?
Next is pain.
I think the power of pain is absolutely unknown. Sometimes immense painful situations have the power, which I have personally felt, to bring the best out of you. The bestest out of you, I think, I believe.
Next is kindness.
Kindness is contagious and make your smile, kindness, affection available for free. Yeah.
Next is happy.
Be happy in the present moment. There's nowhere else you can be happy. You can't be happy about something which happened in the past.
Right.
You can't be happy about thinking something about the future. So why not be happy while you are in the present?
With this comes next is depression.
I think let's talk depression out. Everyone goes through low phases in their life, and it's very important to talk it out with the right person. Have compassion. It's important that while you're speaking to someone who is depressed, you let aside your calculative mind that whether he is right or wrong. At that time, what the person needs is that you be available.
Right.
And let's face it, fight it, and let's openly talk about depression. It's completely okay.
So with the end of rapid fire, we are on the verge of wrapping up the show. So before wrapping up the show, I want you, how you been felt as the roles has been reversed, and what advice would you give to the people who are watching you?
I'll answer this in 2 parts. It was lovely being a part of this show, and I've always felt that younger brotherly energy from you, and I've already told you about that. So it was absolutely thrilling to be on the show, and I would love the fact of the role reversal that we've been talking. Of course, I've hosted a couple of talk shows myself,
Right.
and you've hosted a lot many. So I would love to have you on the seat of being a guest and I hosting you
Me too.
and unleashing your journey to your viewers. I think that's unheard of.
And what the advice you want to give that viewers are watching you?
I think there's a lot of free advice floating here and there. So I don't want to advise. I just want to live my life. And if it inspires someone, it'll be great. If it doesn't also, it's okay. Every individual has their own life.
Right.
There's a lot of learnings that we can just take by just watching people grow, watching people live. So as such, I don't want to give any advice, but it's just live fully. If at all I were to say anything, live fully and be happy. That's the only thing that I would want to say.